Good evening, and welcome to tonight's bedtime story. Settle in, get comfortable, and allow my voice to guide you through the mysterious sounds that echo through our homes when darkness falls. Tonight, we explore 7 creepy sounds your house makes and what they mean. Every house speaks, if you listen closely enough. As you lie there in your bed, perhaps you'll hear some of these sounds tonight. Maybe you already have. Let me tell you what they might mean. The knocking in the walls. You've heard it before, haven't you? That gentle tapping from inside your walls. Tap, tap, tap. Sometimes rhythmic, sometimes random, always making you wonder what lurks behind the plaster and paint. Most would tell you it's just your plumbing. Water rushing through pipes causes them to expand and contract, creating that distinctive knocking sound plumbers call water hammer. Copper pipes might rub against wooden frames as they heat and cool, adding their voice to your home's nocturnal chorus. But there's another explanation that's whispered about in darker circles. Throughout history, knocking has been the simplest form of spiritual communication. In Victorian parlors, mediums would invite spirits to knock once for yes, twice for no. They believed that entities required less energy to knock than to fully appear. Perhaps most unsettling are knocks that come in threes. Some say this mocks holy trinities, suggesting something less than benevolent has come calling. So as you lie there tonight, if you hear that gentle tapping from within your walls, ask yourself, is it merely pipes adjusting to temperature changes, or is someone, or something, trying to get your attention? The scratching above. There's something primal about hearing scratching overhead. It triggers ancient instincts, doesn't it? That soft scritch-scratch sound that makes you stare at the ceiling, wondering what moves in the darkness above. Rational minds point to uninvited guests of the natural world. Mice scurrying across your attic floor, squirrels making nests in your insulation, or raccoons seeking shelter. These creatures become most active at dawn and dusk, following the same paths night after night. Yet in folklore across many cultures, scratching sounds have darker implications. Some believe these noises represent entities trying to claw their way into our world from another. The spaces above our heads, attics, crawl spaces, ceilings, are thought to be closer to the spirit realm, a border between worlds where the veil grows thin. What makes one's blood run cold is when the scratching seems to respond to you, intensifying when mentioned, following your movements from room to room, or stopping suddenly when addressed directly. So tonight, should you hear that gentle scratching above your bed, consider both possibilities as you drift towards sleep. Is it merely a small creature seeking warmth, or something else entirely trying to break through? The midnight footsteps. Perhaps nothing sends a chill down one's spine quite like the sound of footsteps when you know you're alone. That distinctive creak of weight pressing against old floorboards, moving in a pattern that sounds unmistakably human. Scientists would explain that wooden structures naturally expand and contract with temperature changes. As night falls and your house cools, the wood contracts slightly, releasing tension in a sequence that can mimic footsteps. Homes with forced air heating are especially prone to this phenomenon as temperatures fluctuate when systems cycle on and off. But those who study the paranormal suggest another possibility. Phantom footsteps rank among the most commonly reported supernatural experiences. Some believe these sounds are residual hauntings, mere echoes of past events repeating like a recording caught in an endless loop. These footsteps often follow the same path night after night, unaware of new walls or furniture that may have been added since their time. More concerning are the footsteps that seem aware, that follow you from room to room, that stop when spoken to, that approach your bed as you pretend to sleep. These suggest not an echo, but a presence with purpose. As you lie in bed tonight, listening to your house settle into darkness, pay attention to those creaks and groans. Do they follow the same path each night? Or do they seem to be coming toward you? The whispers in empty rooms. Few sounds disturb our peace more profoundly than voices when we know we're alone. Whether it's a faint whisper, fragments of conversation, or the distinct sound of your name being called, these auditory experiences pierce the veil between comfort and fear. Skeptics explain that our brains evolved to find patterns in chaos, including sounds. This phenomenon, called pareidolia, causes us to interpret random noise as speech. Modern homes offer countless sources. The hum of refrigerators, the whir of computer fans, or wind moving around your house can create frequencies our brains sometimes process as voices. Another explanation is radio frequency breakthrough. Electronic devices occasionally picking up fragments of radio transmissions, causing faint voices to emerge from speakers, even when devices appear to be off. Yet throughout human history, disembodied voices have been associated with the supernatural. Modern ghost hunters call them electronic voice phenomena, EVP. Capturing voices on recording devices that weren't audible during recording. What troubles sleep the most are voices that seem to know you, that call your name, that answer your questions, or that share information you couldn't possibly know. These suggest not a trick of acoustics, but an intelligence reaching across some divide to make contact. Tonight, should you hear a whisper from an empty corner of your room, ask yourself, is it merely your heating system, or is someone trying to tell you something? The tapping on windows. There's a particular dread that comes with hearing a tap, tap, tap against your window after dark. That distinct sound of something wanting your attention from the other side of the glass. Logical minds point to simple explanations. Tree branches moved by wind, raindrops driven against glass, or small insects attracted to the warmth and light inside. As temperatures drop at night, window glass contracts slightly, sometimes causing frames to adjust with audible clicks. Yet in supernatural folklore, window tapping holds special significance. In many traditions, spirits cannot enter a home without permission, and tapping on windows is seen as a request for invitation. Some legends suggest counting the taps, 3 for something supernatural, while 2 or 4 might be explained by natural causes. What makes window tapping particularly unsettling is what it represents, something on the outside wanting in. The glass becomes a barrier between safety and whatever waits in the darkness beyond. So if you hear that gentle tap, tap, tap against your bedroom window tonight, will you convince yourself it's just a branch in the wind? Or will you wonder what might be waiting for you to look outside? The moving doors. The sound of a door opening or closing when you're alone suggests not just a presence, but intention, something unseen moving through the spaces of your home. Scientists explain that air pressure is the most common cause. When windows or exterior doors open elsewhere in your house, they create pressure differentials that can move interior doors. Modern heating and cooling systems can change air pressure enough to push doors open or pull them closed. Improperly hung doors naturally swing toward open or closed positions, if not perfectly level. Those who study the unexplained consider moving doors a form of kinetic activity, physical objects manipulated by non-physical entities. This requires significant energy, suggesting a stronger supernatural presence. In various traditions, doors represent boundaries between worlds, and something operating these passageways might signify an entity crossing that threshold. Most unsettling are doors that lock or unlock themselves, suggesting not just movement but purpose. Paranormal researchers note that such activity often clusters around significant dates, anniversaries, birthdays, or other emotionally charged occasions. As you drift toward sleep tonight, if you hear a door creak open down the hall, perhaps ask yourself not just how, but why. The crying in the dark. Perhaps the most heart-stopping sound you might hear in the night is crying or wailing when you're alone. especially if it sounds like a child or woman in distress. There are natural explanations that might calm a racing heart. Several animals produce sounds remarkably similar to human crying. Foxes can make calls disturbingly like a woman's scream. Certain birds, particularly owls, create vocalizations easily mistaken for weeping. Wind passing through small openings in your home creates resonant frequencies that sound eerily human. Water pipes can generate similar sounds when air becomes trapped in your plumbing system. Even household appliances might produce high-pitched sounds that, in the quiet of night, could be misinterpreted as crying. Yet the sound of weeping holds particular significance in ghost lore across cultures. Legends of crying women appear in folklore worldwide, from La Llorona in Latin America to the Banshee in Irish tradition. Many believe that sounds tied to strong emotions, like crying, are more likely to manifest as hauntings. The theory suggests that extreme emotional states can imprint themselves on an environment, replaying under certain conditions. In some traditions, these sounds are seen not as threats, but as warnings, protective spirits attempting to alert the living to unseen dangers. Tonight, should you hear crying in the darkness of your home, before dismissing it as the wind, consider why this particular sound affects humans so deeply. Perhaps there's a reason we all instinctively respond to the sound of weeping. Every house has its own voice, its unique symphony of sounds that become the backdrop of our lives. While science explains most of the creaks, knocks, and whispers we've explored tonight, there's always room for mystery in the spaces we call home. Houses are witnesses to the full spectrum of human experience. Joy and grief, beginnings and endings. They absorb our energy, our emotions, our very presence. Is it so hard to believe that something of that energy might linger? Whether you find comfort in the physics of thermal expansion or feel the weight of possibility in each unexplained sound, the noises our houses make connect us to something larger than ourselves. As you drift towards sleep tonight, you might hear one of these sounds in the quiet hours of darkness, and you'll have to decide for yourself. Is it just your house settling into the night, or is it something trying to tell you that perhaps, just perhaps, you're not quite as alone as you think? Sweet dreams, dear listener. Sleep well.